Okay, now we're live. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes for everyone to realize I just started another stream. Sorry about the delay, class. YouTube is playing games. And I don't know why. I don't know why they're playing games. Let me just get everyone a couple minutes just to jump over to the new live stream. Alright, cause I do not know what happened to the other one. Hello, Joel. Morning. We give everyone a couple minutes, and there was about 15 people on the other stream. Yeah, they gotta exit it. Hopefully it cancels. Let me just go ahead and go over and just cancel it so that they know. Let's see if I can go ahead and close this thing out. Bear with me. Shouldn't be anyone over there anymore. It should have closed. But let me go over ahead, close this out. Delete. Perfect. All right. All right, just deleted the other stream. Waiting for some people to get on to the new one. Yep, looks like I gotta clean the whiteboard today due to some technical difficulties. So no one has to watch the board. Don't worry, I'll take care of that today. All right, I'm just gonna wait another 30 seconds. People realize, yep, okay, everyone's starting to jump over now. Let's see. Let me just text some people here. Let them know. All right, you guys don't see another live stream, right? It's just this one. Just double check that for me. Doesn't look like it on my end. Looks like it canceled out. All right, cool. Well, how's everyone doing today? Let's start off with a little prayer. All right, bow your heads because we're going to go into a really cool lesson. And YouTube was trying to play games with me, but I got to deliver a kingdom message today. So nothing's going to stop me, okay? So let's pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Please, Lord, lead us not into temptation, but deliver them from evil. Amen. Love you, Father. So this message today, I'm going to allow God to just speak through my vocal cords. I want to share with you something that I am going to build between January and January of next year. I'm going to try and get this built, and I'm going to ask the whole community to get involved at however way you can give, whether it be sharing this message with a colleague, a coworker, someone that you know. This message right here is going to be huge. All right. So what I have on the board is kingdom thinking. I want everyone to start thinking like a king. Okay. Like, in order to become a king, one must think, act, and behave like a king. All right. And if we are going to build our legacy in our household by doing velocity banking, getting the foundations down to get our finances in order, wipe out all this unwanted debt, okay, and then move into charity, giving, being a cheerful giver, creating an abundance amount of wealth. All right. And part of this message is going to be talking about tithing, okay, and how velocity banking, when I'm working with families, I never compromise the tithe, because one might think, here's a question that comes up quite a bit, and it came up for me as well when I was, getting myself out of debt and still getting myself out of debt. I should be debt free by May, okay? By the way, so I'm happy about that. The question is that I had to face, and I was, searching, is, do I pay off debts or tithe? Or is there a way that I can do both in a way? So, in order for me to answer that question, I had to dive into the word, right? So, if everyone just goes over and checks out at your time and convenience, some people are, driving or at work, so you may not be able to do this. But when you go home, when you catch the replay, I highly encourage you to check out Deuteronomy, okay? Chapter 14, verse 22. All right. This right here is really going to bring things into perspective on how you can tithe even when your finances don't allow you to. Okay. So if we are to look at Deuteronomy 14, verse 22, it says, "Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed that the field bringeth forth year by year." Year by year. That right there. Take that. If you can understand that, most churches want you to almost tithe on a weekly basis. Some people can't do that. I know when I was struggling with debt and I had no job, number one, I'm like, well, God, how the heck do I tithe if I don't have any income coming in? And I went back to this verse right here. I'm like, oh, because in that time, how long did a harvest take to grow? How long does it take to grow a business? How long does it take to produce some income, right? So that you can enable yourself to give. So I decided to take that right there and apply it to my kingdom strategy when it comes to velocity banking, infinite banking, and real estate investing. Okay. So let's go over some numbers here. Here's current income as of January. I lowball myself, but as of this month, I went, as soon as the 31st hits, I'm gonna clear about 10K, but I'm gonna, lowball myself because of, business expenses. I just started a new business as well, and everything's gonna be in one whole new picture. The old business that I had, I'm giving 100% to mom. I say, here you go, mom. We had a conversation at the dinner table. I was like, look, I'm about to give you 100% ownership of the company. You take that over. Go invest in real estate. Go build your legacy. Go become a powerhouse woman. Yes, for all my moms out there, do that. Okay. So I'm pushing my mom to go that route. And then I just started this new business right here as of January, getting this thing solid. Ready? Income 8,000 a month, expenses 3,500. We have a remainder debt of around 9K. That'll get wiped out by May. Okay. I'm just gonna write that. Done by May. All right. If I play my cards right and I'm conservative, I should cash flow about 4K or more a month if I consistently do that and consistently keep my expenses around that number, which might go up because of running a business. Okay. And we currently have our debt tool, a line of credit of 10K. The goal is to increase this to 25K by May after I'm debt free, right? Is to shift all that debt to the line of credit to give me a bigger capability to start doing some damage. Now, here's the goal. I want to establish a kingdom fund, okay? Using the infinite banking concept and the velocity banking concept. And I'm going to explain what we're going to do with it. But right now, I'm going to go over what the kingdom fund is. All right? This is going to be a life insurance asset, okay? And I'm just going to call it the kingdom fund. My goal is to put in $12,000 a year. All right? Now, me personally, I'm tithing like 10% already in my own personal life insurance policy. Like on top of what I put in, I'm putting another 10%. And at the end of the year, I'm gonna take some money out and like help someone, right? On top of that, I also have like a little system where I get a bunch of leads throughout the month, and I, you know, a couple times a week, I just call someone at random. And I'm like, I'm here. Let's do a consultation. Let's get your money right. No, they're like, you don't have to charge me. I'm like, no, you've been blessed. Lord told me to call you. He told me to serve you, so I'm doing that, right? So that's on top of like my tithe. That's giving and offerings, right? So you got your tithe, and then you got your giving and offerings as well. Okay, so 12,000 a year, right, or 1,000 a month. At 24 years old, so the goal is to establish it before 24, right before I'm 24. So that's the goal. But you know, if sooner, that's okay. That's a bonus. My premium cost will be 1,800 a year if I'm putting in 12,000. All right. So we have a very large cash value performance, right? Going into cash, right? Going right into there. If you're lost, don't worry, I'll explain it. And then I have a very minimal amount of percentage going towards premium. All right. And being that I'm so young, very healthy, I'm going to get ultra preferred, and that should create a MEC limit of somewhere around 21,000. And the goal is to fund this for 40 years. So I'm going to work and serve moms all across the United States and dads and whoever comes across my channel that wants to work with me one-on-one. All right. I'm going to be, you know, hustling for 40 years, right? And working and establishing my kingdom authority here. And at the same time, I'm going to be dumping, right, this amount year after year after year. So the minimum I want to do is 12. The max that I can do is 21,000. So the total amount of money going in over 40 years on the low end would be 480,000. On the high end, 840,000. And over 40 years, since my cost does not change, my cost is only $72,000, okay, over the course of 40 years. When it's all said and done, my death benefit will be anywhere from 5.7 million to 7.2 million. No joke. No joke here. You do the math, this money 10 times itself. 10x. Okay? I think my unc would say, good deal, Dens. Good deal. Right? And mind you, this is not an investment. I'm simply saving the tithe, preserving it, because according to the word, if I read this thing properly and rightly divide it, there's even where it talks about people that may not be able to tithe by the year. You can make up for it every 3 years, but you'd have to give 30% if I'm reading it properly. So if I was to go back to it, you know, it says, thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed that the field bringeth forth year by year. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. Now, in today's world, I'm not too sure where that place is. I'm assuming Israel. Okay? The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. Okay, it's important to be of not fear, like be afraid of God, but you are recognizing that he owns it all, baby. He owns it all, right? And you're just recognizing that he owns it all, so you're giving 10%. That's all he says. Hey man, give 10% to the kingdom and watch how much I bless you. Watch, test me, test my system, right? And it goes on to say, and if the way be too long, so if it takes too long to get there with your tithe, right? So back in the day, in cattles and all that, if it takes too long, right, too much for you to carry to bring it to the land, what does he say? What does he say? He says, so that thou art not be able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, then the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, then thou shalt turn it into what? Money. Money. And bind up the money, store up the money. Oh boy, I might be talking to someone today. Bind up the money in thy hand, and thou shalt go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, and thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, for sheep, for wine, for drink, whatever the soul desires, thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice. He shall rejoice. And the Levite, in translation, the preachers today, is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee. So we're going to give to him as well. And then look at that, bringing up the 3-year thing again. At the end of 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thy increase the same year, and thou shalt lay it up within thy gates. Interesting stuff here. Whether you're a believer or not, interesting concepts here. All right. In terms of building wealth, giving, right? Man, when you give, oh my God, this channel has been built strictly off giving and receiving. I just released my actual Velocity Banking Intensive program for $997. I have 2 individuals there. So that means the whole 5 months prior, from August till December, this thing has been merely functioning off the giving and receiving concept. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. So coming back to this, I'm able to establish this in a year's time frame. Right, and all these numbers are real accurate. I just got my illustrations. I was looking them over today. All right, if you think about it, if I just did 10% of all my earnings, then it would be 9.6K. But I'm gonna go a little bit above, because I'm gonna tell you in a minute as we come over here what the purpose of this kingdom fund will do. Okay, so number 1, the beneficiary, it's going to go straight to the kingdom. I'm going to establish what's called a CRT, a charitable remainder trust. Okay, so my beneficiary is not going to go to my heirs, right, or my wife at the time, or my kids at the time. It's not going to go to them directly. It's going to go into this trust. Okay, and I'm going to establish a board, right, a board of individuals, someone that it's an entrepreneur, someone in finance, someone that understands literature, a lawyer, a doctor, an attorney, a board. Okay, and they are going to have control over all this money that gets divvied out to the kingdom. Now when I say control, here's where I'm going to have in writing is that the business is going to have language that's going to say exactly what to do with the finances. All right. Now, here's some good things to know about this establishment, right? Is that this fund is going to earn anywhere from 4 to 12.5%. That's the range. Okay. It could go higher if interest rates go up, throughout the years, which they probably most likely will when the Fed decides to increase the interest rates. Then I'll benefit from that. Okay, the account will never lose money. So it follows Uncle G's rule, never lose money. It's a tax-free asset. We don't have to worry about Uncle Sam. All right, these are after-tax dollars going into this account. All right, money will be used to fund mission trips, help moms master personal finance, and spread the truth. What is the truth? Come on, man. You know who is. He's got a name. It's a name. Okay, the truth is Jesus. All right, that's the truth. Get to know him. Even if you're not a believer, or if you're a believer, you don't know, you're up in the air. Who knows? I wasn't always a believer, right? I don't think anyone's a believer right away. It takes time, right? Here's what else we're going to do with this fund. We're going to do some education reform. Listen, the U.S. is suffering right now. People are dum-dums. Got a lot of knuckleheads. People think that they know about money and they don't know jack. And they're $500,000, $1 million, $3 million of debt and think they know it all. Okay? We got a whole millennial generation that has no teacher. Who are the teachers, man? Who are the true teachers right now in society? Very little. Very little teachers. You got guys like Tony Robbins. You got guys like Gary Vaynerchuk or Grant Cardone, John Maxwell. You know, very few guys. You know, even in the church industry, only a couple of guys that really got it down. You know, so this is gonna help. This fund right here, we're gonna partner with some teachers and organizations that are all about education reform, right? I was doing some research. You know, there's only 4 states that require a personal finance class. That's terrible. That's terrible. It's terrible. So we're going to work on establishing personal finance into the criteria starting as early as elementary. Early as elementary. You get a 10-year-old. Listen, I'm working with middle school students and elementary students in my local area, and they have been fed velocity banking, how to build credit, how to avoid debt, how to increase income. They're being fed that. 10 years old. Oh my God. Oh my. When they get older, trust me, are they going to be so profound in their speech and language when it comes to making money? All right. The other thing that I want to do is there's a movement, all right, that the United Nations put together. It's called the Sustainable Development Goals. A lot of people don't even know about this. Reason being is because there's no teacher. Hopefully, I want to position myself as a teacher. In combination with education reform, we put a program together, both personal finance, which is getting your money right, and then the SDGs is talking all about how to preserve the planet, the environment, make it sustainable, create legacy, right? What are we building, people? What are we building? All right. And I have something personal that I would like to also do with this money as it grows. So mind you, if we're putting in 12K a year, right, at the least, and it's growing anywhere from 4 to 12.5%, all right, my break-even point, let me see what it is. I believe the money breaks even, let's see, 12, 24, 36. By year 4 or 5, the money breaks even, right? And I have an initial death benefit anywhere from 1.1 million to 1.5 million dollars. Okay, bomb, just like that. So if anything goes down, anything happens to me at a very young age, it'll still perform what it needs to perform, because I'm also going to establish this trust very soon. Within the year, I'm going to establish the trust, establish the will. I'm going to get my board in line. I'm going to find some people in this community that I can trust. People that I've been working with for a couple months now. People that I trust. People that I've grown to like. You know, like Joel. I like Joel. I like what he talks about. You know, I like Kendrick, my guy Kendrick. Been watching me since like day one, and he signed up at my Velocity Banking Intensive course, right? And I'm always calling him brethren, right? We got moms that have been following me since like day one. Love it. Military. I'm getting my military people involved. They're gonna be on this board, all right? Guys like Matthew, who was on a call recently on a live stream. Like this guy, like what he does, right? There's particular individuals that I'm gonna combine together, and we're gonna do some really interesting things, all right? And we're gonna all establish some kingdom authority. So let me dive over to some questions here. I want to read what some of the comments are. I want to see what you guys are saying. See how you guys feel about this. What do you think? Any questions regarding, you know, the asset itself, how it'll function, how it'll get used throughout the years? Okay. I'm putting my money into this, but then I'm also anyone that joins my tier 1 on Patreon, I redefined it. I called it Kingdom Citizens. All right? So anyone that gives $10, whether it be on a month-to-month basis, one time, all I need, all my goal is to get at least 1,000 people to give. At least 1,000 people. I have what, 36, almost 4,000 subscribers now, so that's about a third of my viewership. Only a third. Can you imagine what it would be like if more did that? So only a third. $10, whether it be one time or a month-to-month basis, all of that money will go into the established fund. It will go into the kingdom fund. All right. And then that throughout the years, I'll be managing it, obviously, but I'm going to use it to continue to help moms, work with the SDGs. Got people in Miami that I'm partnered with that are very knowledgeable on the sustainable development goals. And I'm sure there's people in this community that know of it as well, that are also knowledgeable. And this will also help to continue to, you know, improve the quality, you know, of this channel and the content, things like that. So let me look at some questions here. All right. Cruz says, what's up, D? How many years do you have to pay the premium for? It's going to be 40 years. It's going to be a 40-year fund. Okay. One generation, 40 years, right? The policy will then turn into a reduced paid up where no more money will be funded into it. It's going to just continue to grow on its own, right? Which will then fund whichever organization or foundation that the board decides together as a team. Okay? That's how that'll work. Joel says he owns it, we manage it for him. That is correct. God owns it. He simply gave it to us to manage. He gave us this earth, right? We are the dominant creature here. So it is our responsibility to bring the best out of the plants, to bring the best out of the land, out of the fruit, to bring the best out of our companion, our partners. That is what we've been designed to do. Let's see. According to Dave Ramsey, life insurance is a bad investment. Term insurance is the best way to go. My friend, you are correct. You know why? Because you use the word investment. Investment. We are merely saving money in an account, tax-free, that's going to grow at this interest rate, somewhere around here, consistently, year after year after year. Okay? So you got to understand the purpose of the account. The purpose is to preserve the money that we put into it and never lose it. Mind you, we know velocity banking. So the money that grows inside of it, what do you think we're going to do with that? We're going to make money. We're going to invest in real estate, right? Dave Ramsey never talks about investing in real estate, almost never. He only talks about mutual funds. And in my opinion, you're better off buying the index. The heck are you paying a guy all this money for a mutual fund when you can just buy the index and average out year after year, right? So if you really want to talk about investing, my friend, real estate, stock market, start your own business, provide a product or service to the marketplace, and you'll make 10 times any investment. And if you add giving to it, oh my, oh my. Let's see, Cruz says, if you're only putting in 72K of your money, guessing only 6 years. No, the 72K is the cost. 72K is the cost. The total amount of money going in at the least will be 480,000. At the most will be 840,000. Okay? This 480,000 will 10 times itself, right? It'll be worth 10 times $4.8 million cash, not death benefit, cash, by the time I'm somewhere around 80 years old, somewhere around 80. Okay? So that money 10x'd itself over a 40, 50-year time period at the least. And then the death benefit, like I said, anywhere from 5.7 to 7.2 million. Okay? That's right around the age of late 80s, maybe 90s. Okay? But obviously, if I put in more than 12K with the help of the community that are giving, right? People who are just giving through the Patreon, right? Or however they'd like to give, exposure, right? Putting me in front of more people, letting me speak at a church. Max will be somewhere around 21,000, 840,000. If I'm doing that, then obviously the money would grow that much faster, right? So by the time I'm 80, it'll be worth 8.4 million or sooner, probably around 65, 70. That thing will really start to grow. Let's see. He said it's an asset, not an investment. There's the difference. There you go, Russell. Appreciate it. All right. Let's see. He says, I meant whole life insurance is a bad product. Term life is better. Again, the purpose. What is the purpose of us acquiring the term or the whole life? What are we using it for? Term life is best if you just want what? Life insurance. It's cheap as hell, right? Just buy it, right? And if you want to save money tax-free and use it to do velocity banking and build a legacy and be able to pass on tax-free money in the millions to your family and heirs, and okay, that's where whole life comes in, right? It's best when you do your research and follow what the most successful individuals have done, like the Rockefellers, like Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone. Okay, these guys know it. These guys know it. Follow them, learn from them. Let's see. Cruz says, infinite banking concept, great tool to have to establish your kingdom authority. You are the bank. Correct. We are essentially establishing a bank that's going to fund mission trips, that's going to fund whatever God puts in our hearts to do for people, for humanity, for the SDGs. Come on. We're going to do some real stuff. Let's see. Truth. Albert. How are you, Albert? Hawaiian time. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Letty says, yes. With you. Let's see. What does the billionaire and the beggar have in common? Both have 24 hours in a day. Yep. So how are we maximizing our 24 hours? Not only our time, but how are we maximizing our money? Right? Where are you putting it and why? What's the purpose of you investing in a REIT, in a IRA? What's the purpose of it? Right? If it's not fulfilling the purpose, then therefore it is not a qualified, a good investment strategy, right? That's something to really, really look into. Oh, yes. Joel says, I'll commit starting February. Love it. Okay, God doesn't make rich people or what? God doesn't make rich people or poor people. He only makes people some rich, some poor, depending on how they managed. You gotta fix your wording there. I feel like I know what you're getting onto. And that reminds me of the story of the three gentlemen that were given talents. One was given 5, the other one was given 2, the other one was given 1, right? The guy with the 1 talent didn't do jack with it, so God took it away from him. That's how God is, man. Hey, I'm gonna give you life. Of all the billions and billions of sperm cells that were going before you got made, and you was the only one that made it, and then you got conceived, you lived through your mother's womb. She carried you, and you lived through that process, right? Some babies don't even get to that process. They die in the womb, right? Some babies die when they get out. Some babies die a couple weeks, months later. So you mean to tell me all that, right? All that. Come on. Come on. And then to live a life not at your maximum potential. That is a waste of what? Talent. For what? Whoever put this thought into your mind of being average. You know, I love what Grant Cardone talks about. He's like, you got to be obsessed, right? You cannot be average, right? I don't, your human body has not been designed to be average. There's only one of you. You must become obsessed with your purpose in life and your passion and your kingdom authority, and really hone in on it and just master this. Okay? Let's see, what company are you using for your whole life insurance? For this one, I'm either going to go with Mass Mutual or Guardian. If I go with Mass Mutual, my dividend rate will be anywhere from like 4 to 6.5% or higher. If I go with Guardian, then my Guardian policy is going to function like a whole life, where the premiums stay stagnant. They won't change. And then the money that goes in the cash value will follow the index, which will give me that 12.5%, maybe 8, maybe 10, maybe 11, 7, 9, whatever it is. It's just going to follow the index. And in the event that the index does not perform and goes negative one year, or the market crashes, I'll still receive my floor of 4%. Not very many savings accounts, money market accounts, CDs, bonds can do that and guarantee it every single year. So that's where we have that protection of wealth. Okay. Macy says, I love your response whenever someone speaks of investing with life insurance. Well, thank you. You know, I'm always about the terminology, right? For the first time, I think in ever, our current generation, our society is redefining terms. For the first time ever, we're redefining terms. For the longest, you've got terms that just meant this, right? Just like, you know, the Bible, when you get new translations, the word alters, and that's where God always talks about you got to rightly divide the word. Same thing when you're looking at an investment strategy towards your money, is you got to be able to rightly divide what an investment is, what savings is, okay, what spending is, expenses, debts, things like. You got to be able to really, you know, evaluate things, right? It's so important, right? To know the original text, the original language, the meaning of a word. It's like when you know the original meaning of a word, just like authority, you know, and kingdom and dominion, you know, and work, right? A lot of people I talk to are afraid of the word work. because they're referring it to working for someone for so many years and then retiring, where in fact the word work actually means to become what you've been designed to do, a king, to become a king, right? Let's see. Are you going to the 10X conference? No, I wanted to, but I am going on a vacation with my girlfriend, and we're going to have an exciting time together. I'll catch his 10X event the following year, but I also planned in like March or April. I think he's doing like an intensive, like a smaller, like 10X workshop, like a sales event. And I think for me, it would be more valuable to go to something like that, because I could probably, get him one-on-one. And also my team, who are 10X students, are going to be flying down to Florida, and we're going to be connecting that way. So I'm going to get better use of my money. Let's see. Generosity and prosperity go hand in hand. Lewis says, I'm 56. Is it too late to get that kind of return? No. No. If you design an asset like this properly, your age won't become a major factor. Now, if you're in terrible health, then yeah, it's gonna be a factor, right? And premium's gonna be higher. You're not gonna have much death benefit. But that's where velocity banking comes into play, my friend. That's when we have to start looking at real estate. 56 years old, over the next 10 years, what are we gonna do together? We're gonna wipe out all that dang debt. We're gonna acquire some real estate together, do some deals, and then get some insurance to protect all that wealth that you create over the next 10 years. So it doesn't matter where you're at any point in time. It always makes sense to have what? Protection, have a trust, have a will, power of attorney, a doctor, all this stuff. Very, very important. Life insurance can help fund all those things so that you can keep expanding and growing, right? Very, very good stuff. Let's see. Is there a way you can add subtitles to your videos, but in Spanish? I've been spreading the word about you. Teachings and blessings have drawn up a pretty big crowd that would understand it better. We got to work on that. Maybe we got to team up with someone that knows how to add subtitles to my videos, and it can just translate it in Spanish, or can translate it in another language, Portuguese, or whatever other language, whoever is fluent in a specific language, and you want to spread this, let's go. Let's do that. Let's see. God doesn't give you money, he gives you ideas. I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with that. Not that God puts it in someone else's heart to bless you, whether it be financially, spiritually, or a physical product or a service, So I believe that the more and more people that find this channel and they watch a couple videos, they get to know my character, and before you know it, they're signing up. Tier 3, Tier 4, they're giving more than what I initially put on there. What made them do that? Not because of what I really know, right? Because they could have gone to VIP Financial. They could have gone to Replace Your Mortgage. They could have gone to what's the other guy? Connor J. Wallace. And there's an Asian dude as well that does this, and with the little board. And I think it's called Beat the Bush or something like that. They could have gone anywhere else that has 10 times more subscribers than me, way more likes, way more views, right? Way more everything. Experience, knowledge. Why did they choose me? I think it's because God put it in their heart to bless me. They like what I'm doing. They like the mission. They like what I stand for. And on top of the wealth of information that I want to provide to people is that feature and benefit, you know? So let's see. Am I late? Yeah, but it's okay. I was late, so I gotta watch the board. So you're okay. Where have you learned all this info? Who has taught my teacher? Okay. When I surrendered, keyword, when I surrendered, got down on the knees, I was like, okay, I got down and I said, I don't know what this is. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to put you on display. I'm going to put your reputation on the line, right? And let's see what happens. Okay. So, like I said, in some of my videos, I've gone over a what's called a fantasy league. Okay. So my fantasy league is a group of individuals that are highly, highly successful financially, spiritually, physically, mentally. Their mentality is aligned with mine, their way of thinking. Okay. And in combination of those guys, the image, right? The image that I want to represent, that I want to acquire, I got that. And then I have the blessings from Christ. I firmly believe that he blessed me with all this information because prior to me establishing my fantasy league, I was already doing these concepts like for my own personal self, but on a very, very small level. Very, very small level. But then with the bonus of a guy like Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins, Denzel Washington, John Lee Dumas, right? These guys have poured information into my life over the last year, I should say. Tony Robbins, I think I've been following him since I started selling knives. Like I was selling knives when I just got out of high school. I was selling Cutco knives. I was going to mom's houses. I was like, hey, mom, you need to buy these knives. Why? Because they're the best knives ever, right? And you love me, and I love you. And if you help me, it's going to help me grow my business. And that's what I would do, right? And in that time, I was following what's his, oh my God, Tony Robbins' teacher was Jim Rohn, right? So I was listening to Jim Rohn at the time and Tony Robbins, which then led me to other like John Maxwell and other individuals as well that just are just highly, highly successful. And a guy like Tony Robbins, he wrote, I don't have it right here, but he wrote a book called Money Master the Game. And all the way in the back of the book, he's talking about this: life insurance as an asset, as a guaranteed way to create wealth and preserve money and have income at the later stages of your life. He talks about it. Pretty interesting. When it comes from someone that, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's made about $1 billion or more over his lifetime, I believe. His net worth is definitely hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, but I think he's made well over $1 billion so far, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let's see. Lewis, can you please add the life insurance companies you mentioned earlier in this video after the class is done? Yeah. You want me to like put in the comments? I can just put in the comments if you want. Cornelius says, we choose you because we know, like, and trust you. Yes, that is what I want to establish here. I want you to get to know, like, and trust me so that when we're on the phone together, that you're actually going to listen to what I tell you to do in order to get yourself out of all this debt so that you can start thinking like a king. You're like, all right, 10% of everything that I make, I can establish something like this. Imagine if for all my 50, 60, 45-year-old moms and dads out there that I talk to, your kids are my age or younger. Just imagine if you started teaching them this stuff now. If you just said, hey, watch this video, please. Can you watch this video, please? Just tell them, hey, can you watch this video? Check it out. See what your millennial generation is doing, right? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You get a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old to start learning the stuff that I know right now at age 23. They're 5 years ahead of me, technically. And then that will propel them to the next stage. Incredible stuff. Let's see. Amen, brother. You are the only person I see teaching velocity banking. Most of the others are putting the idea out there, but not teaching how to do it. You are teaching. Correct. That is the difference. I was like, I have to figure out a way to separate myself from the industry. Right? Everyone is selling velocity banking. They're just selling it. Buy this program, buy this software. It's going to teach you how to do it. No, no, no. No, no, no. I know a lot of ex VIP financial clients and ex replace your mortgage clients. They bought the software. It did its job, right? It shows when you'll be debt free, and it did it. But the problem is the user, the person could not comprehend it, and the strategy kind of blew up on themselves, right? And then they come talk to me, and I'm like, cool. Now we have to reorganize, fix this, get it going. So it's not that those other channels are bad. They're great companies. It's just that when you don't have a teacher to kind of, hey, walk you along, that's where it can get confusing. Yes, and using real numbers from real people helps a lot. That definitely does too, yeah. Good afternoon, my brother. Can I do velocity banking with a line of credit that is less than my income? Of course. Of course. Yeah, Jeremy. We'll get this thing going, man. Like, I had a $5,000 line of credit, and let me tell you, I was velocitizing the heck out of that 5K. I was like, boom, 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 like back and forth. I have families that they make maybe 5 grand a month, but they were only able to get a line of credit for like 2 or 3 thousand. And then I have some families that make like 7 grand a month, and then they got a line of credit for like 7 grand. So it was like, when we get a line of credit very, very small, usually my chunks match the exact limit of that line of credit. So I actually take out the whole amount. So if I have a $5,000 line of credit, my chunk is going to be 5,000. Bam. And then I dump my income, 5K. It washes the account. No interest occurs. And then throughout the month, expenses are, 3-4 grand or whatever. Cash flows 1,000. Okay. We're taking the money out, taking the money out. What else is happening when you're taking the money out? You're getting paid. So you're paying yourself back, right? And then like literally every like 2-3 months, 4 months, we're doing like 3 to 5K chunks. And that's gonna build your credit very, very fast so that you can what? Increase it, and get it going. Let's see. Can I set this up for my children? Of course. I have 6 families right now that we're working on establishing the child policies, but you do have to have life insurance yourself, whether it's a term policy or a whole life. They'll base it off that. If the kid is 18 or older, then I don't think it matters. Like, he could get the policy himself, but you fund it. That's that's a way to go. Let's see. I'm 22 years old, trying to learn how to get into this. My sister, who is 34, led me to you about velocity banking. I've been watching your videos ever since. What's the difference with Bitcoin? I just left a seminar about building a relationship with your bank, and the speakers had no knowledge of this topic. Well, that's unfortunate for the speakers, right? We got to teach these speakers, like, what are they doing? What are they doing? 22 years old. Nice. You're younger than me. Okay. Bitcoin is interesting. I think that the only thing that would affect velocity banking is if Bitcoin took over as the worldwide currency. And that's a very possible thing that can happen over the next 10, maybe 20 years, that all currency goes from paper to virtual. But here's what's beautiful. The concept will never die. We just have to change our numbers. We're like, okay, well, now we make Bitcoin. So I'll be doing, okay, we make 8,000 of Bitcoin per month, and like that's all it'll be. The interest might change, the value of the Bitcoin might change, but the concept stays the same. We'll still be able to leverage. Maybe they'll come out with loans and lines of Bitcoin. You can get a line of Bitcoin, line of credit in Bitcoin, or a loan in Bitcoin. All right. That's the only thing I think that would have an alter to velocity banking. Other than that, that's the only thing I see with difference between Bitcoin. If that's your question. If the question is, can I do velocity banking with Bitcoin? Sure, but not to pay off debt. We could do velocity banking to invest in Bitcoin using our currency, our fiat currencies, to invest in Bitcoin. I have a gentleman that invests in Bitcoin. I believe he's doing velocity banking. You know, I spoke to him like, yeah, do this, this, and this. And he doesn't have a lot of debt. So he stores his money in Bitcoin. He's just letting the ride. He's just letting it ride. Right. But instead of sacrificing his monthly cash flow, he's using a line of credit to throw it in there, and then he just stores his cash flow in the line of credit to avoid any interest, right? And then with a line of credit, what can he do? Put more money in the Bitcoin, and that offsets his risk, so to speak. Now, if he loses money in the Bitcoin, he loses money in the Bitcoin, but he's okay with it because he's more in it for the long haul, right? Let's see. I'm still in the process of learning. Can you quickly explain why you dump all income into the line of credit account, then draw expenses from that? I know there is a reason for doing that. Apologies. Are you my client? Because I have a Lewis about to get me upset. Are you my client, Luis Flores? Because I have someone by the name of that, but I don't know if it's you. I mean, because I have people with similar names that I work with. Are you on my Patreon list? Because I'm about to get fired up in a minute. Okay, thank God. Thank God. All right, so you're new. Cool. We accept you. Listen, my friend. When doing velocity banking, you did send me an email. Yeah, so I have another Lewis that I work with, and he's in my tier 3. And I have a guy by the last name of Flores, Mr. Joel. So that's why I got a little confused. So as we wrap up class, let me answer this last question right here. The reason for dumping all your income into a line of credit after you've chunked at a specific debt. So for example, let's use me. I got a $10,000 line of credits at 15.99% interest. If I take a chunk of 6 or 7,000 to pay this 9K, right? Immediately, this 9K, right? Let's just say it's it's a bunch of credit cards that have, 25%, 27%, 19%, whatever the case may be. Just doing that alone would save me money, okay? But it's not enough, right? It's not enough. So after making that 6K chunk towards whatever amortized debt or credit card debt, auto loan, whatever the case may be, when we strategically make that chunk, you now have to solve for the line of credit because you just created the debt, okay? So if I take my income and I all at once, whether you get paid monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, it's sporadic, your commission, doesn't matter. In a month, in 30 days, 30 days, all that goes into here, and it washes the account. It washes what you took out, right? And then throughout 30 days, you now are you're withdrawing expenses. So if you only draw 400 in a week, and then you withdraw 900, and then you withdraw 1,000, 200, you're only paying interest on whatever's outstanding, not the whole chunk. So that lowers our interest costs, which allows us to offset the borrowing effect, right? And then in the process of doing that, guess what? You're getting paid, whether it's monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, salary, commission, business revenue, whatever the case may be. And it creates this velocity, the speed at which you make transactions. If you do this real right, you can be ahead. You can literally be 1 month ahead on all of your bills. I have people who are like this. They're literally a month ahead on all their bills because they've made the chunk, which gained them cash flow, right? And then they use that money that they would have spent towards that debt. Now it's being used for expenses, and they're getting paid, and it just keeps washing it. Bam, bam, bam. And then as soon as the balance approaches zero or close to zero, we create another debt. We take another chunk, and we keep going. Right? That right there. Oh my God! If you get that, my friend Lewis, and then you work with me one-on-one, because me just saying that is not enough. Like, it's like, okay, but when you submit the numbers, you work with me one-on-one, we lay it out, we have a conversation, and then I throw it on the board. Amazing things occur. The light bulb goes off, and then you're off to the races. You never have to use anyone else ever again. That's my goal. Is I want to actually equip you. I don't want you to rely on me to learn velocity banking. I literally want you to master this so that your kids can learn it. And then when I'm long gone, my legacy lives on. I created all these students that mastered velocity banking, created all these successors. And then I picked a few people to join my board to keep keeping on. I was listening to an interview that Grant Cardone was doing with this really big dude, like this. His name is Ed something. Ed something. He's in the financial services. You think this guy would be a bodybuilder, but he's in the financial services. And Grant was talking to his staff on, having them thinking like he died, right? So if Grant Cardone's not there, who's gonna run the ship? Can the ship last without the captain, right? Will a new captain arise and keep the ship going, right? And that's exactly the same method I want to, get with Grant, is because he's got this amazing concept of helping, like, he's got a foundation that he started, and it's going to be helping kids without dads. And I think that's a big reason why I connect with him a lot, because I was raised without a father. Okay, my dad was taken from me, right? And mom found someone else years later, but the damage had already been done, without a daddy. Kids without dads is, I don't want to say it's worse than not having a mother. I mean, it's both are terrible, but that, a son without his dad is just like a huge delay. And if that kid is not nurtured by like 20 years old or sooner, or 25 or sooner, I mean, just the path goes down. The suicide rates are up. If you ever look at the statistics of kids without dads and you look at the suicide rate, you would be astonished. You'd be astonished, right? So I myself had to go on a journey. I had to find me a dad, right? Who did I find? My man, Christ, God, found him. And then I began to appreciate other father figures in my life, you know, like my stepdad. So I don't resent him anymore. People like Grant, you know, people in my fantasy league, things like that. So that's going to be huge as well. Part of this, Kingdom Fund is going to really help kids without dads, boys or girls, right? And I'm just going to partner with people that are just doing it, right? And if you want to be a part of that, listen, join my tier 1. It's called Kingdom Citizens, right? 1,000 spots. There's 66 people there as of right now that have been consistently giving for like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Like there's some people that have just been giving consistently. Like my good friend Macy, he's just been giving. Like my good friend Miss the Ortega family, just been giving, a day in and day out, just building it. Because they know, they get it. And I want you to get it. All right. Let's see. Last questions. Hello, Denzel. Over the past 2 months, I've been getting my finances in order. I'll become a Patreon soon. I'll be waiting to see you. Hello, Rush. Denzel, you have no idea how thankful I am that I found your channel. I'm looking forward to our first call, potentially working together in the future. I'm a licensed real estate agent in Texas. Oh yeah, let me tell you, got a lot of people over there in Texas. Love Texas. Never been there. I wanna go. Let's see. Thanks. I need to work on getting a line of credit. Yes. Yep. Getting that line of credit, getting that tool, it's key. Okay. Working on debt snowball, but want to do velocity banking after I pay off credit card debt, car note. I would encourage you to go a little faster. I wouldn't stay on debt snowball for too long because your cash flow is being sacrificed. We don't want that. Let's see. And that is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely catch the replay. It'll be up. All right. This is the kingdom message, kingdom thinking, kingdom authority, kingdom principles, getting yourself in line, getting your finances in order, becoming a part of something that's bigger than all of us. Okay. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day. God bless. I'll do another live stream tomorrow. I'm going to try and do a live stream like every day until the 31st. I'm going to try. All right. It's just depends on, situation and noise in the house, things like that. All right. So you guys have a wonderful day. I love you. God bless.